So the next part of the brain is the midbrain, which is also called as the mesencephalon. The midbrain is located between the thalamus or the hypothalamus of the forebrain and the pons of the hindbrain. So it is the structure present in between the forebrain and the hindbrain. And there is a canal which is called as cerebral aqueduct, which passes through the midbrain. And the dorsal portion of the midbrain contains 4 round swellings which are called as corpora quadrigemina. We'll be learning about its function. And then midbrain and hindbrain, they together form the brain stem. So it oftenly comes in the MCQ questions also, what is brain stem. So brain stem as per NCERT is the midbrain and the hindbrain together. The hindbrain is the last portion of the brain and it is also called as the rhombencephalon. And the hindbrain comprises of pons, full name is pons veruli, cerebellum. Cerebellum is basically a small version of cerebrum, that's why it is called as cerebellum, and it is the second largest portion in the brain. And then we have the medulla, which is also called as medulla oblongata. Pons consists of the fiber tracts that interconnect different regions of the brain. The cerebellum has very convoluted surface in order to provide additional space for many neurons, and the medulla of the brain is connected with the spinal cord. So spinal cord is linked with the brain with the help of the medulla oblongata. Medulla contains the centers which control the respiratory, cardiovascular reflexes as well as the gastric secretion, which we have already covered in the previous chapters. Let's now go through the notes side by side. So the midbrain, the next portion is the midbrain. The midbrain is also called as the mesencephalon. It is a small portion. Midbrain is the smallest portion of the brain and it is the middle part of brain which contains nerve cells and these nerve cells are scattered in the white matter. The midbrain has the cerebral aqueduct, which we have already covered in the previous page. The duct of Iter or the aqueduct. So it contains the cerebral aqueduct and its roof is the tectum. So its roof is called as tectum and its floor is called as the tegmentum, and it has 2 structures. So 2 main structures. NCERT only talks about one structure, that is the corpora quadrigemina. So it has basically 2 main structures. The crura cerebri, or also called as cerebral peduncles. Peduncles are structures hanging from the main bodies are called as peduncles, or you can say a stalk-like structure coming out from a body is called as a peduncle. So they are also called as crura cerebri, also called as cerebral peduncles. So these cerebral peduncles, they connect the 3rd ventricle to the 4th ventricle. Because aqueduct passes through them, or you can say the duct of Iter passes through them, and it connects the forebrain to the hindbrain. So the main function of the midbrain is to connect the forebrain with the hindbrain, because messages have to come from the whole body through the hindbrain and then it goes to the main center, that is the forebrain. So the pathway has to be provided by the midbrain, and that pathway is through the crura cerebri. And then there are 2 fibrous tracts which are present in the crura cerebri. Now the next main portion, as mentioned in the NCERT, is the corpora quadrigemina. From the name you can make out corpora stands for small bodies and quadrigemina means there are 4 structures. Quadri stands for 4. So there are 4 swellings which are present and attached with the midbrain, and those 4 swellings are basically the one which controls the hearing reflexes as well as the sight. So sight, whatever reflexes are linked with the vision and whatever reflexes are linked with the hearing or audition, all those are controlled by the corpora quadrigemina. So these 4 swellings are called as the superior and inferior colliculi. They are called as superior. So on each side we have a larger one on top side and a smaller one on the bottom side. The larger one is called as superior and the bottom one is a small one is called inferior colliculi. So there are 4 colliculi, 2 superior one which are for the visual reflexes to be controlled and 2 bottom one which are supposed to be for the auditory type of reflexes to be controlled. So when we turn our head one side or the other side according to what we see or what we hear, all those reflexes which are linked with the hearing of something and watching something is controlled by the corpora quadrigemina. The third part of the brain, as per the NCERT we have already covered, is the hind brain. So hind brain is also called as the metencephalon. Then it has the cerebellum. Some books will call it as rhombencephalon. So its largest portion is called as the cerebellum. Cerebellum is called as the epencephalon, and it lies behind the cerebrum and above the medulla oblongata. It is the second largest part of brain, and it is also called as the little cerebrum. That's why it is called as cerebellum. It has three parts, two lateral portions. So just like in the case of cerebrum we learned, there are two lateral parts. Then there is a central connecting part. The connecting part here is called as the vermis because it looks like a worm, like an earthworm type of, that's why it is called as vermis. And the two corner portions are called as the cerebellar hemisphere. So previously the term was cerebral hemisphere, now we have cerebellar hemispheres. The grey matter is towards the outside, white matter towards the inside, just like the previous structure. But one peculiar thing present here is that the white matter appears like a tree, and it is called as the arbor vitae, and some scientists believe it is the site of the consciousness. Our soul is there according to some medical people. So there are three pairs of cerebellar peduncles, stalk-like structures, which are responsible for communication of the pathway between the cerebellum and the rest of the brain. So brain is connected with the cerebellum with the help of three pairs of cerebral peduncles. The superior one, which connects to the midbrain, the middle pair connects to the pons, and the inferior one connects to the medulla oblongata and spinal cord. That means the main thing with the cerebellum is to be connected with all the portions of the brain, as well as with through it joins even to the spinal cord. The function of the cerebellum is to control equilibrium and to control rapid muscular activity. The next portion is the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is called as the myelencephalon. It's a narrow cylindrical part. It has fourth ventricle which is connected with the third ventricle with the help of iter. And in the anterior part it has the grey matter and white matter mixed together. In the posterior part, grey matter is outside, white matter is inside. Ventricle is connected to the spinal ventricle with the help of the aperture. Those apertures are foramen of Luschke and foramen of